So yeah, we got a new Predator film that dropped on Hulu on Friday. Yeah, we did. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well out there. Yes, and the day has arrived. We do have a brand new Predator film that dropped on Hulu yesterday, and we're going to talk about it right now. But before we get into it, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. Join me here. I would appreciate that. Yes, Prey dropped on Hulu yesterday. I didn't get to watch it last night. I was at a friend's house at a pool party. By the time I got home, me and the wife were tired, and I didn't have time to sit down and watch this. But this morning, as soon as I got out of bed, I went downstairs and I put this on, and I watched it. We're going to talk about it right now. Now, a little history of my thoughts on this project leading up to being able to see it. I heard when they announced it and it was going to go straight to Hulu, I didn't have the highest of hopes for this project. We've been burned by Predator films in the past. Let's be honest, the series has not been kind to that awesome creature from that series. Besides the first two films in Predators, the AVP-1 was okay. You could have some fun with it, but it's not a great film. AVP-2 is a raging dumpster fire, and Shane Black's the Predator. Well, considering the talent involved, that film is a huge mess of a movie and not very good. And considering Disney owns the property now, and Disney doesn't have the best track record in my opinion, I don't have much faith in Disney, especially shepherding an R-rated franchise. And it was going straight to streaming, which streaming does not give me much hope. Netflix, their original movies, maybe 30 to 40% of the time they're good. The rest of the time they're pretty bad. Some of the other streaming services, they're hit or miss, about 50-50 if the movie's going to be good or not. So I didn't have the highest of hopes. They announced Dan Trachtenberg was directing this film. Didn't mean anything to me. He directed one feature film before this, and that was 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I do like, but it's not a great film. It's an okay middle-of-the-road thriller. The ending kind of kills it for me. I don't think the ending really works. I think it's well acted, but the ending, at the end of the day, when I finished watching that film with that was okay. Nothing great, nothing special, but it was okay. So my hopes were not high for this. I was going into it with no expectations whatsoever, hoping to be surprised when the movie ended. So let's get into this. Right at the beginning of the film, was set up that we're in the 1700s amongst a Comanche tribe. And we're introduced to Naru, played by Amber Midthunder, who I think is really good here. We'll talk about her as we go through this review. And she's out in the woods honing her skills as a tracker and a hunter with her trusty dog. And her brother is considered in the tribe as a top-tier hunter and a tracker. And she wants to be involved, but she gets kind of turned down at every corner, although her brother does give her props later on as the movie goes along. But women didn't do those things, so she's kind of looked at a little strangely amongst her native tribesmen, why she wants to do this. And she notices this thunderous thing going on out in the distance, and this is the Predator being dropped off by its ship. And in this one, the Predator is considered a feral Predator, and definitely to change the design. We'll talk about that as we go through this review. And we're basically seeing all this unfold through her eyes, because she's the one who notices something's amiss. And when she tells her brother and others in the tribe about this, they kind of laugh it off, not laugh it off, but kind of blow her off about it. And they think she's just seeing an animal of some kind. But as the movie goes along, she notices these things. She knows there's something out there where nobody else is seeing, until finally, I'm going to fast forward through a lot of this because you can check it out. It's on Hulu. If you have Hulu, you can watch it today, tomorrow, whenever you want. But I'm going to spoil some things. Until the Predator finally shows itself. We don't really see the Predator in all its glory until about 40 minutes into the film. And that's when the film really kicks into high gear. The beginning of the film, for the first part of the movie, it's setting up her character, the tribe itself, their situation, how they have to go out and hunt for everything, because it's the 1700s. They have to try to survive in this environment. They shot this in Alberta, Canada. And I'll give Dan Trachtenberg credit. The landscape shots are gorgeous. And he handles this film pretty well. I only have a few minor complaints about the directing of this film. And then when the Predator does show up, all hell breaks loose, and people realize that she was telling the truth. There is something out there that they do not know, never saw before, can have a hard time comprehending what it is. And then we have a run-in with some French trappers. Naru gets captured along with her brother and her dog. And they use them as bait to bait the Predator. And the Predator shows up in this spectacular scene and just wipes them all out. And then basically at the end of the film, her and her brother are the only two left out in the wilderness against this Predator. Her brother gets killed, and then she has to face the Predator by herself. Now, this is the part of the movie where I was dreading knowing where they were, before I saw the film. Because the original film, and I'm going to compare this to the original film because there's no way you cannot. The original is an absolute classic. It's a freaking one of the best action sci-fi horror films of all time. Period. For good reason. It's such a well-made movie. I was worried you're going to take this 100-pound woman and put her against this big-ass predator. How is she going to beat it? Now, they do a few smart things here, which I was thankful for. They scale back the Predator's technology. Doesn't have the laser cannon. Still has tech, has the laser sights and all that stuff, but it's mostly hand-to-hand with hand-to-hand weapons and this arrow system that it has in its mask. Other than that, the Predator is pretty much stripped down, way more so than the one we see in 87 Predator, which I was thankful for. That was a smart thing. And they set up that they have damaged the Predator. They've used their weapons smartly against it and tried to use the terrain against the Predator. And I thought they handled it pretty damn well. That satisfied my worrisomeness that I had towards how they were going to handle this and explain how she could possibly defeat this big creature. When in the first film, Arnold got lucky at the end and beat it just because the Predator was going to kill him for sure, and he got lucky that he had a trap left. The Predator happened to stand under it, and he ended up taking out the Predator. Even Arnold could barely kill him. So they do handle it in a tactful way. I thought they handled it pretty smartly, and I was quite satisfied with the way it ended. And I thought Amber Midthunder gives a really good performance. She does a lot with her eyes. Now, some of the dialogue, they speak in English here, and I know there's going to be a version where it's overdubbed with Comanche, I guess that's going to be on there. Some of the dialogue is kind of too now. Like, she's kind of a smart-ass to each other. It doesn't seem right. Honestly, when it happens, it kind of took me out of the movie for a second. But they do. She is really good in this role. I got to give her credit. She's very physical. She does a lot with her eyes alone. And I thought she was up for the challenge of this physical role. So I got to give the actress credit. She's really good. I'd like to see her in some more high-profile projects if she gets a chance. So I had no complaints with her. Her brother was fine. That actor was fine. He does at the end try to help his sister, and he gets killed for it. The Predator itself, the design itself, when it had the mask on, I dug the design, the redesign of the Predator, because this does not look like our Predator from 87 that fought Arnold, or even Predator 2. So it's a total redesign. When I took its mask off is where I had the issue with the design. I didn't like its face all that much in comparison to the 87 original Predator. But it's fine. It's done practically. Some of the facial moves I think were CGI, but for the most part, the Predator itself is handled practically, except for when it's in camouflage, that's handled CGI. Now, here comes some of my... Other than that, I thought some of the landscape shots, some of the action is really well handled here by Dan Trachtenberg. I thought Amber Midthunder was really good. So those are my positives about this film. So it definitely exceeded my expectations on those fronts alone. Some of my problems are the use of CGI when it does happen, some of the CGI animals, some of the CGI blood. When it happens, it looks like shit. I know this was a lower budgeted Predator film compared to The Predator, which I think had an $80 million budget or $85 million budget. This was a lower budgeted film. Now, obviously, they probably had more budget than they did for the original film or even the sequel. I don't know what the budget was, though. I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it. So when the CGI does hit with the animals and stuff, it doesn't look good at all. But that's some of my problems. And then I think the setup of the movie, it's only an hour and 40 minutes long. I know they have to set up the character and whatnot. I think some time should have been shaved off the first 40 minutes of the film. I think it goes a little too long in the tooth till we get to the action. Once we get to the action, it's pretty well handled here. It's nothing mind-blowing, but I thought it was. You could tell what's going on. It goes for the throat here, although even though this definitely was shooting for a rated R, you can tell, and there's a lot of blood thrown around and people losing limbs. In certain aspects, they do kind of foreshadow the violence going on. I thought that was kind of an odd choice. I don't know, maybe it was just an artistic choice by the director. I don't know. I thought that was kind of odd, considering one moment you're showing somebody get their arms cut off, and in others you're obscuring the view of what's taking place. I don't know, I mean, that was just an artistic thing. Is this movie perfect? I've seen a lot of hype since people got to see it early, and people are calling it a masterpiece, the best of the series. No, this is not a masterpiece of filmmaking. It's a solid film. Is it better than the original? No. Is it better than Part 2? No, not in my opinion. I really like Part 2, and the first one's a masterpiece of action, horror, and sci-fi. So, yeah, the people that are touting it, everybody has their own opinion. Film is subjective. So, I'm not downgrading anybody's opinion. If they think this is a masterpiece, that is up to them. For my money, in my opinion, no. This is nowhere near the heights of the original film. I'm sorry, it's not. This is not the best Predator film. It's not the second best Predator film, but it is a damn solid Predator film, and it's the best Predator film we've gotten in quite some time. So on that aspect alone, I will give it credit. And at the end of the day, I would give Prey a 7 out of 10. It definitely is much better than I thought, and it definitely exceeded my expectations considering I had none. So this morning when I watched it, I was pleasantly surprised at the end product. At the end of the day, a 7 out of 10. We will see how it holds up upon further watches down the road. But right now, I was completely satisfied with what we were given. I wouldn't mind seeing another sequel and see what they can do with it. And I like how we find out how the Predator got it, or where the flintlock pistol came from Predator 2, because we do see it show up in this film. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, at the end of the day, Prey, 7 out of 10. What are your thoughts on this movie? If you watched it yet on Hulu, leave a comment down below. Let me know. Let me know. Tell me what your thoughts are. Do you think it's better than the original Predator? I thought it was nowhere near as good as the original Predator, but I thought it was a solid Predator film. I'm not going to overhype it. I thought it was a solid Predator film, but it's nowhere near the heights of the original. So I hope you're all doing well out there. I'm going to have a new Predator ranking coming out that I'm going to be off the rest of the week because I'm going to Nashville with my wife. But until next time, bye.